Hey you guys, how are you doing today? So I'm going to see if I can get my stick blender to reach, and just now getting started. Gotta get my gloves on and glasses. So I've got my apron on, and I've got my gloves. I've tied a string on the back so I can tie it tight so it wouldn't get in the way. Shirt I have has some few little strings that hang down in front of it. I wanted to keep that out of the batter. But my friend Lori gave me this stuff, and she gave me one of the piping tips I'm going to be using tonight. And so anyway, what I'm going to do is get these glasses on. And now, haha. Okay, so you can see it here. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Now, this is the finely ground oatmeal, coconut flour, and kaolin clay. I call this my triple coconut because it has coconut flour in it, coconut milk. I'm not using any heavy creams this time. And coconut oil for my triple coconut recipe. So I'm going to stir this around here, just like this. And now, I do not freeze my coconut milk. I take the water content and I divide it in half, and I add half of it coconut milk, but I also kind of cheat and add in a little extra water so that the sea salt will melt, and that gives me more time to work with. It might make it longer to cure, I suppose. I mean, it might take longer for the water to evaporate, but not really, because half of my coconut milk is fatty stuff, so it just increases the super fat. Now, I do super fat at 10% with this recipe because I use 35% of coconut oil. So it's a bit heavy on the coconut oil, so it's a bit heavy on the super fatten, and that's why the coconut milk has lots of fats in it I like to use. And so all that's good. First, I'm going to stick blend a little bit of it. Go ahead and get started. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pour in my lye water. Now, I have Tussle Silk in here, and I strain it because sometimes not all of it is melted. And I have sea salt in here too, and sometimes not all of the sea salt dissolves. It's because of how I reduced the water content in half. And basically I added a little bit, but not enough really to dissolve the salt easily. I strain it. The reason I use the sea salt is because easier for me to get this particular recipe out of my mold with the sea salt in it. It helps it make it a little bit harder because I have a little bit more of the softer oils in it. And there goes my lights flickering. I'm sorry. I don't know why. This side of Mom's house does that. So hopefully the light will not go out. That would be bad. And I'm going to stick blend this a bit. I'm going to also add my coconut milk right now, because like I said, half of it's fat. Okay, next for my fragrance oil. Now my fragrance oil is from Nature's Garden, and it's called Creamy Coconut. And when it's supposed to have a light scent after it's opened, but when you take a shower with it, it smells like coconut milk. Okay, I'm going to scrape this down and mix my colors, which I decided to do with blue and light blue and white with the natural color, of course. And now white is the color, the main color that I want. I need to get a new stick blender. This one works good, but it's just, or an extension cord. But I do need to get a new one. My other one broke on me. Scrapey, scrapey. Okay, moving that one aside. Now, for my light blue. Next, of course, will be my dark blue. Put it over here. And my dark blue. This, now, my light blue is the Nurture soap. It's their Blue Vibrance. And this blue here is Be Scented Denim Blue. Now to clean off a little bit. And now bring in these things. Now I have on this one here, I have markings on the side as far as how I want to take it, because it would make, with piping on top, it would make too tall. It'd be just way too tall if I piped on top. I think I'll go with the no color first. Now, I'm going to work on these ones too. Just a little bit there on that one. Let's do the flower in this one. The flower. And the rose one. Since I'm going to pipe on top of the others, I'm not worried about, and I always have extra. So, there's that. Of those. Now, I guess next I'm going to do a little bit of a pour from a distance, let it go through, back and forth a couple times. Do it from a height. Wipe my fingers off. Now for some white, with these things here. That was not planned for. Okay, seriously. Now for this one. And I'm getting the little individual molds that I have, the daffodil, the rose, and the bunch of sunflowers. I wish they had the sunflowers in the flexible mold like they do the other one, the other two, because it would be so much easier to unmold them. Get these first. And put some in here. Making a mess, as always. Now for some white. That was not quite full enough. Yes, I'm overfilling the little individual molds because I do this. Now this is from Walmart. It is a silicone spatula butter knife. That's what it's called, butter knife on there. That's how they label it, not just knife, but butter knife. And I flattened it. And this one the same. And you get that down off the side. And this one. Okay, this one requires a little bit of cleanup. Okay, now I'm going to let those sit there now that they're full and finish filling these. And then spray the top so I can start piping after I get my bags filled. I've already done my piping batter. Go with, and yes, my soap is starting to thicken up, but not not more than I can work with. It's a good thing because at the end of this, I will have a swirl that I use with the little wand, bubble wand from a child's bubble, one of the big ones that they come in a kit. Now this fragrance oil has 1% of vanillin or vanillin, and so it might darken a little bit on me, but probably not really severe. I can work with fine when it's up to 1%. Another reason I chose to get this one. Number one, it said it would smell like coconut milk. Number two, and it does actually. I made it in the lotions and candles so far. I'm going to pound this a little bit. Okay. And I'm starting to plop it in. Because yes, it has gotten thick. Okay. I'm sorry, gotten silent. Kind of concentrating on getting the last of this in here. Now this is what I'm talking about. This right here is a bubble wand that goes into a set, a little bowl thing, and it has 3 of them on it, and that's the handle. I'm using the handle. I really have about the same amount in each of these. This one has it's a little bit taller and would actually hold more, but I found that I don't want it to hold more. I'm going to spray it. Now this is 90% rubbing alcohol, and I get soda ash if I don't do this where I'm at. But I know that everybody's humidity environment is different, so sometimes this helps and sometimes it don't. Another thing it does, it helps set the top of this up and prepare it for the next layer, the piping layer. Now, I'm going to use this tip. It's like just a smooth, I think it's the number 1 or 2. It's in a kit that has 3 big ones, and it's just a smooth round edge. And I'm going to stir my batter, which is nice and good and thick. See, thick. And I'm going to go ahead and fill this here with as much of this as I can get in there. And I'm going to go start. I don't know if I made enough. I might have to smooth that layer out on the top. I guess next time I'll know if I need to make a bigger batch. Okay, maybe next time I'll have to make 20 ounces of my batter. I don't have enough. This is actually the first time I've made this amount of this particular recipe. Let's see if I can get this spread out. I'm not going to worry about it that much. I'll just do what I can. Okay, so these are going to be a little bit different, but probably will still be okay. Next, for this tool. And my idea was to put some flowers on top. We'll see how it turns out on both of them. I'm going to go with this one first. And I made sure to redraw on my lines here to divide so I can try to evenly. Okay, this is not going to quite work the way I wanted it to. Okay. Yeah, gotta do more for next time. Well, so I'm thinking about getting some flower tip things for my soaping, because all the ones I have right now are used for my cake decorating. This is not looking too pretty. Okay, I know what I have to do with that one, maybe this one too. Plan B, spoon swirl. Okay, now for this last one, and I'm just going to drizzle. So next time, I'm going to have gotten a piping tip that's for a flower, and that's smaller. And I'm going to use 25 ounce for the piping. Making sure it sticks good. This was going to be the center of the flower. So I'm going to spray this one more time. And I'm going to put it to bed, and I'm going to say bye now. Now this one right here tends to bow, even with the support that I've added, so I'm going to push it towards the corner and try to force it to not bow. You got to get this thing over here. Gonna move one here. Then move it up here so I can try to. So this is what I'm going to put. I'm pushing this one towards this one, and it's forcing it to at least not quite bow so much. And yes. Alrighty then. I'm putting it to bed. And I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Good night.